Hello and welcome to the JW Thoughts channel. My name is Wally. I have a bald head and I am ready to tell you something that Watchtower doesn't want you to know. Run the intro. Alright, so when I was waking up, I had the most bizarre conversation. So as many of you know, I started from Genesis and I pretty much was not anywhere interested in taking the Bible literally by the time I got to Judges. But I did come across something very interesting in my reading of Leviticus. And I didn't cover this in my Bible reading with Wally because I wanted to do a dedicated video, and here it is now. So I can whip out the old Bible. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I forgot to say that in the intro. So yeah, if you're enjoying the content, we're back uploading on a regular basis. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. We got a lot of cool stuff going on. I know I was promising a lot of really high quality videos, but I was waiting till the channel kind of got the momentum back. So it looks like we're getting close to that. So I will be releasing some of those shortly. Anyway, in Leviticus chapter 11, and let's look at verse 21. Now, picture the scene as Wally, someone that is completely woken up, but for various reasons is trying to keep the status quo. I'm at dinner with one of my best friends, and I just bring up this verse because we were talking about something related to science in the Bible. Anyone that knows me, I don't like to force or push things on people, but if something sort of comes about or surfaces naturally and it seems like a positive environment where you can sort of maybe plant a little seed of doubt, then that is always the best way to go about things, because someone will be willing to actually listen to you, which if you the Bible's wrong, then they just shut their brains off. Anyway, Leviticus chapter 11 verse 21. Quote, "Only this is what you may eat of all the winged swarming creatures that go upon all fours, those that have leaper legs above their feet with which to leap upon the earth. These are the ones of them you may eat of: the migratory locust according to its kind, the edible locust after its kind, and the cricket according to its kind, and the grasshopper according to its kind, and every other wing-swarming creature that does have 4 legs is a loathsome thing to you." Okay, so a 4-legged winged creature. I repeat, a 4-legged winged creature. Do these things exist in anywhere else other than myths? Well, the answer to that is absolutely no. You will not be able to go out there and find a 4-legged winged creature. So then the question arises, how do Jehovah's Witnesses, how do Christians reconcile this verse that is obviously scientifically inaccurate? Well, the old Insight book is where my friend took me. So we were sitting there, we were having dinner, and I brought this up because we were talking about something related to science in the Bible. I can't even remember the context. Maybe it was a return visit that I had or something to that effect. Anyway, he brought it up. So I was like, yeah, I came across this interesting thing in my Bible reading. So he's like, that is pretty weird. And he looked up just on Google, are there 4-legged winged insects or creatures? He's like, no, they don't exist. None of them has ever been found. So then the next thing he did is he went to the Insight book and he read me this. It is in the Insight book, volume 1, page 1201 under insects. Quote, "The picturesque language of the Bible refers to insects as going on all fours. Obviously, Moses was familiar with the fact that insects have 6 legs, so the reference is undoubtedly to their mode of travel rather than to the number of their legs. There are winged insects, including the bees, flies, and wasps, that walk with their 6 legs in the manner of 4-legged animals. Other insects, such as locusts, are equipped with 2 leaper legs and thus literally use the other 4 legs for crawling. So his response to this was, well, you see clearly. When you're talking about locusts or grasshoppers, he was referring to the 4 legs that they crawl on, but not the leaper legs. Okay, are the Jehovah's Witnesses unique in this proposition? Well, absolutely not. This was probably one of the most... It covered all of the points, so you can go and click and you'll find all kinds of articles on the old internets, and they have lots of different discussions. But this one is from the Institute for Creation Research, the Discovery Center, ICR.org. Anyway, does the Bible really claim that insects only have 4 legs? And he goes and talks about a similar situation where I think he was talking about someone that brought up during one of his lectures at university and challenged him on this point. Yes, in this article, he says, today, locusts are considered migratory grasshoppers. They all have 2 large hind legs, quite different in appearance, size, and function from the front 4 legs. Their front 4 legs are used for crawling, clinging, and climbing, while the back legs rest above their front legs and feet and are used for jumping. Furthermore, the word translated beetle actually comes from the verb to leap, implying a similar leaping insect, not to our modern beetle. Thus, the biblical description of grasshoppers turns out to be exactly anatomically correct. Far from being an embarrassment to Bible believers, the passage bears sterling testimony to the accuracy and inspiration of the Scriptures. As always, arguments which claim that the Bible is wrong are themselves wrong, and the Bible still stands. Woo! Yes, people, it's obvious, isn't it? Most Christians, and the Jehovah's Witnesses included, have solved the problem. Well, obviously, Moses knew that all insects, that fly have 6 legs, not 4. So he was using this picturesque language. And what he was really describing was, these locusts that, walk on 4 legs. This is the worst. Maybe not the worst, but one of the funniest replies, because literally, in the verse before that, so look at the context of the scripture. He's talking about, okay, well, what can you eat and what can you not eat? So in describing the insects that you can eat, he specifically says in verse 22, these are the ones of them you may eat. The migratory locust, according to its kind, the edible locust after its kind, the cricket, and the grasshopper. Then he says, and every other winged storming creature that does have 4 legs is a loathsome thing to you. So he separates locusts and grasshoppers or whatever. He separates those. He says, okay, well, you can eat those. He literally is making a separation. So when apologists come in and say, oh, well, what he's talking about is grasshoppers here. Well, yeah, he mentions grasshoppers here, but then he says, well, every other. Well, what other winged creature is walking around? It's just, it's so funny to me that you can start with the conclusion. I know I always make the same point, but when you start with the conclusion, this is the sort of nonsense that it leads you to. Now, the more interesting part to me is when you look at ancient myths, you do find throughout history these depictions of winged lions. You even find them in the Bible. The winged creatures and beasts. I probably look it up in like one. Oh, my computer froze, so I definitely can't look that up. But I remember even in the Daniel book, or even in the descriptions in Daniel, it's talking about these different creatures that have wings that, don't normally have wings, and it's all seen as symbolic. And it's the classic, let's look at things with a yellow highlighter and a green highlighter. This is literal, this is literal, this is literal. Well, this is picturesque language. Yes, he is giving commands on what you can and cannot eat, but he's using figurative language. Imagine you're the creator of the universe and you're sitting there and you're trying to come up with the rules and regulations for the dietary restrictions of your chosen people. And in mid-thought, in mid-regulation, you go from literal language to figurative language. Imagine if you're driving down the highway and it says 60 miles an hour, sometimes when it's not. And then there's a police officer there and he pulls you over. He's like, well, how fast were you going? I was going 65. Well, speed limit's actually 50. Oh, what? Oh, you were going 15 over, so that's an extra charge or an extra tier. And yet that's the apologetics. That is how they try and get around this thing that is blatantly obvious to anyone with a working mind. And so, yes, that is why I say Watchtower does not want you to watch this video, because it contains logic, reason, and just, it's not even logic and reason. It's just goddamn common sense. Why am I even saying logic and reason? It's just reading. It's reading comprehension. What people learn in, I don't really know grades, but I'll assume they start learning this in like 4th or 5th grade. Hey, Johnny, read this sentence and tell me what it's talking about. That is the only thing that needs to be applied here. Just basic reading comprehension. And yet they have to go on this elaborate, literal, figurative nonsense. Anyway, thank you so much for indulging me in another rant. I think I want to actually make this a series to go along with the In the Mind of God. We'll make it Watchtower doesn't want you to X or something to that effect. Anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe if you've enjoyed to this point. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Oh, also don't forget, I do have a phone number. You can call me, you can text me, you can shoot me an email. I like corresponding with people. I am terrible at responding to people, but I have been getting better, so that is positive. Please just at least reach out. It means a lot to me just to hear everyone's messages, and it's very encouraging, and it helps motivate me to keep going. With all of that being said, we'll see you next time. Oh, but maybe we'll do a wicked stunt. Let's see. We'll use whatever we have on hand here. I got a couple coasters and the old kombucha, because I don't have any water. Okay, let's see what we got here. If I do something cool and wicked, you have to subscribe. That's the rules. I make the rules. Well, now it's broken. So, does that mean we quit? No, that means we go and we get another one. DJ Khaled style. Never give up. Never surrender. Alright, the first one went into shambles, which means you should already be liking and subscribing to the channel. But do we quit here at JW Thoughts? Do we quit, team? No, we don't. If at first you don't succeed, you try again. Because we are too talented. We are literally too talented to give up. And that's why we don't give up, squad.